Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
A by-election loss being seen as a sign that all is not well for Jamaica's opposition party. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, April 5. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The ruling Labour Party, JLP, captured the Portland Eastern seat in Thursday's by-election, ending its 30-year political drought in the constituency. And the political commentators say the opposition People's National Party's loss of the seat shows that it is in a fragile state. Anne-Marie Vaz won the election with 9,917 votes when she went up against the PNP's Damian Crawford, who secured 9,611 votes. Director of Elections Glasspool Brown said there was a 53% voter turnout in the polls that were triggered by the deaths of MP Dr. Linvale Bloomfield, who was found murdered in his home in February this year. With a victory, Vaz will be the first female member of Parliament for Portland Eastern and will join her husband Darrell Vaz in Parliament. He is the MP for the neighbouring Portland Western constituency. The PNP had held the Portland Eastern seat since February 9, 1989, and Damian Gordon, Assistant Lecturer of the Public Policy in the Department of Government at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, says Vaz's win is an indication that the JLP's popularity is growing while the PNP's is waning. He says it could also signal future losses for the PNP in general elections due in 2020.
If you can lose East Portland, it says that you can lose other state seats across the country. Westmoreland may be next. Think of any other state PNP state seat outside of the garrisons. I think Peter Phillips especially will face the blunt of the questions today because it's a leadership has been called into question once again. And clearly the party cannot continue as it is currently. They have to do some internal assessment. They have to ask themselves, why is party not connecting?
Meantime, the PNP's General Secretary Julian Robinson is calling for an investigation into a fake letter which claimed that the party's leader, Dr. Peter Phillips, has resigned, or had resigned rather. The PNP said in a statement that the letter purported to bear Phillips's signature was a blatant act of forgery that emerged during the by-election. Robinson said the fake resignation letter was a malicious attempt to bring the leadership of the PNP into disrepute.
Well, the party leader didn't write any letter whatsoever, so it's clearly a forgery. I don't know who originated this letter at all. Obviously, as a party, we'll make our assessment in the coming days and weeks. We thank our supporters who voted for us, but the party leader remains the party leader, and he hasn't resigned at all. So it's disturbing that someone would purport to put out on his behalf a letter of resignation, which he did not initiate at all. And I think it requires an investigation to determine who is behind this letter and this forgery, because it's not his signature at all and not his letter.
The PNP says in addition to carrying out its own investigations, it has reported the matter to the Office of the Political Ombudsman and the police. The party meantime extended congratulations to Vaz on her victory and also thanked those who voted for Crawford in the by-election. Over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the main opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, says it will file an appeal against the High Court ruling that dismissed its challenges to 2 results in the December 2015 general election. Opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday told a news conference that the party would be challenging the ruling with regards to the North Windward and Central Leeward constituencies. The 2015 polls were won by the Unity Labour Party by a 1-seat majority. The NDP's Laurent Baptiste was defeated by the ULP's Montgomery Daniel in North Windward, and its Central Leeward candidate Benjamin Exter lost to the ULP's Sir Louis Straker. Justice Stanley John, in a March 21st ruling, dismissed the petitions, but the opposition leader says he is hopeful that the Court of Appeal will review the evidence and come to a different decision. He said the NDP has good reason to hope that happens, as its lawyers have advised that Justice John's judgment was deeply flawed and presents many good grounds for appeal. Lawmakers in the Cayman Islands on Thursday voted unanimously on a motion to support government's move to appeal the court ruling legalizing same-sex marriage there. But it's not everyone is in support of the appeal. The Cayman Islands Human Rights Commission has spoken out against government's decision to challenge last week's historic ruling, describing it as ill-considered and doomed to fail. In a statement on Thursday afternoon, the Commission described government's case as weak to the point of being inarguable. But Arden McLean, who introduced the motion in the Legislative Assembly in support of government's appeal, has hit back at the Human Rights Commission's statements. We get the details in this Cayman 27 News report.
Calling it a matter of definite national importance, East End MLA Arden McLean presented his motion supporting government's appeal of Chief Justice Anthony Smelly's decision to the fullest extent. The motion kicked off hours of debate.
We are not dealing with Sunday school children or people. These people don't mean us well. Take warning.
Savannah MLA Anthony Eden seconded the motion, comparing Friday, March 29th, the day the judgment was handed down, to the Pearl Harbor attack.
What is the difference between the Cayman Islands and Sodom and Gomorrah? You think he's going to make an exception? He's not going to do it.
Are we going to sit down as Caymanians and allow this to invade our country? God forbid.
Education Minister Juliana O'Connor Connolly told the chamber she received what was purportedly Chantel Day and Vicky Boden-Bush's marriage license, encouraging opponents of same-sex marriage to lodge objection to the union in writing or in person.
The person who is marrying you usually will pause to say, does anyone have any objections, or does anyone have anything to say? So if you missed the 7-day window, please attend the marriage, because it's been a very public display, and you have an opportunity to object.
Petitioner Chantel Day responded to Ms. O'Connor Connolly in a statement saying, this call for objections to our marriage in writing/in person demonstrates a blatant disregard for the rule of law and raises concerns of abuse of her position of power as a leader in our community.
This is no longer a gay marriage issue. This is a constitutional issue.
Others, like Newlands MLA Alva Saku, questioned the Chief Justice's authority to usurp the lawmaker's legislative power.
What comes next? What else will be taken away from this legislature?
Trinidad and Tobago's National Security Minister has sent a stern warning to incarcerated crime bosses who orchestrate hits from prison walls after one alleged hitman was intercepted on his way to execute a prison officer in the east of the country. At the post-cabinet press conference on Thursday, Minister Stuart Young said the individual was held the night before by officers of the Special Operations Response Team, SORT. He was apprehended less than 24 hours after SORT issued a confidential report that outlined a plot to kill 5 prison officers.
As a result of operations, and I've told you all we will be doing things via intelligence-driven operations, I'm happy to say that we were successful in picking up one of the persons who it is alleged was preparing himself to attempt to do harm to prison officers. And I want to use this opportunity to send a very, very strong signal to anyone, including those in the prison system. Because you see, there are a number of criminals in the prison system who for too long have been allowed to operate behind the bars of the prisons as though they can continue to run their criminal empires on the outside. And they could continue to communicate with the persons on the outside and send threats, not only for prison officers, but to send threats to other law-abiding citizens. And when it comes to these criminal elements who are on the inside of prisons thinking that they can threaten persons, it is not going to be tolerated.
Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, predictions of a below-average hurricane season this year. The details after the break. Stay with us.
Before the start of the main event, we'll be kicking off with a unique warm-up event, the Commentators' Cup. Our three commentators and our roving reporter will be battling it out in the North Wales wave pool. 3 waves each, best single wave wins.
How do you high C?
Too late for that, mate. That will be the first scoring wave of the day.
Watching me like Netflix. Now leave them in a silence. Them a wait for me to bring the vibes. Jamaican people.
Hurricane forecasters are predicting that the 2019 Atlantic season will be slightly below average. Colorado State University says there will be 13 named storms, with 5 hurricanes and 2 developing into major hurricanes. And there is a slightly below average probability for major hurricanes making landfall in the Caribbean. This prediction is lower than 2018, when 15 named storms developed in the Atlantic and 8 became hurricanes, 2 of them major storms. The reason Colorado State researchers are feeling a bit optimistic about the 2019 season at this stage is that the water-warming El Nino is forecast to develop this summer in the Atlantic, and that could help suppress some storms' growth. Current sea temperatures also factored in the initial forecast. The tropical Atlantic is slightly cooler than normal, and the far North Atlantic and subtropical Atlantic is warmer than normal for this time of the year. These conditions mirror less active seasons, given that more powerful hurricanes tend to form in the deep tropics. Back in 2017, several Caribbean countries, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, and Kitts Nevis, the British Virgin Islands, were severely affected after Hurricanes Maria and Irma swept through the Lesser Antilles. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. Antigua and Barbuda's Tourism and Investment Minister Charles Max Fernandez is leading a delegation to Miami for talks with Carnival Cruise Line after the U.S.-based companies cancelled several scheduled calls to the island. Information Minister Melford Nicholas said no statement would be issued regarding the talks, the second to be held since last month's discussions in Miami, which he described as productive and constructive. He He said Fernandez had made a presentation to Cabinet prior to heading off to Miami, and Cabinet gave some further scope to the discussions and the ongoing negotiations. But he says he is not at liberty to disclose any details at this point in time. Carnival pulled out of Antigua last month without giving exact reasons for its decision. Prime Minister Gaston Brown says he believes it is because of the controversial agreement signed with Global Ports Holdings. But he is optimistic that the cruise ships that cancelled calls to the island would reconsider their position. The CEO of Barbados' National Cultural Foundation wants the island to become a year-round calendar of events. This is the countdown as the countdown begins for the highly anticipated Reggae Festival. We get the details in this week's Newsline Entertainment.
When you say love is only share and care, when you say war is only fear and tears, we got to show the youth a life worth living and find a way to neutralize despair. Cause if a love is only fear and square, but if a war is scattered here and there, this on a race and we defy relation.
This performance from Sprague Benz is just a taste of what patrons can expect at the Barbados Reggae Festival later this month. It begins with Buju Banton's Long Walk to Freedom concert on April 27th at Kensington Oval. The night will also feature performances from Wayne Wonder and Sprague Benz, among others. Promoter Alison Hunt of FAS Promotions told the official launch in Bridgetown on Thursday night that patrons will not be disappointed.
I promise you, you do not want to miss. I had the privilege of traveling to Jamaica to see the first show in Jamaica for Buju. And I came back and I was literally spellbound. It was absolutely amazing. Buju is the same Buju that we have known over the years, grown to love and respect as a musician and an artist. And I think that what we can expect here in Barbados is going to be even more spectacular, because joined on this show would be Wayne Wonder and Sprague Benz, his day one from the beginning.
And Sprague Benz said the trio has been each other's inspiration from early in their careers.
People might not know this, but Wayne Wonder is like a classmate from 1980s at Camperdown, you know. I'm going to school for all these years and not knowing that Wayne Wonder, Van Wayne Charles, who I walk with the school every day, was actually Wayne Wonder. Until one night they see me in a dance, I bust the place. After me and this man I walk to school every day. And then to see Wayne come out and be the one that actually bring Buju Banton to the forefront as an artist and introduce him to the public and show him all of the skills of a dancehall artist. And then Buju being the one that actually come and take me, you know, and inspire me to become an artist as well. You know, that's a trinity right there that a lot of people don't even recognize. So.
Meanwhile, the CEO of Barbados' National Cultural Foundation, Carol Roberts, said it is time to create a year-long calendar of events for the island.
And I feel that the time has come for us to stop thinking of each show as an individual effort and begin looking at it as an entire year's calendar of exciting events.
The Reggae Festival will run from April 27th to 30th. Marie-Claire Williams, Newsline Entertainment.
And ahead in sport, Barbados female cricket captain says the women's game is on the upswing. Stay with us. Sport is next.
mention Muse really quick because I had the pleasure of attending an event here, and it was phenomenal. You have the different rooms, the different settings. I love the setup. I love the open space. I love the fact that it's in a community where not too many, it's not a buzz of artwork here. Not like that, you don't see that buzz. And then you go a couple of blocks over, and there you have it, buzz, buzz, buzz. But I like the way that you guys are making noise here in the community.
Come on now, we are making noise here.
Kali, what you doing? Driving a yellow cab.
Somebody want to plant the corn. Everybody want to raid the barn. So I'm a king in my castle. King in my castle. My high and my low. You're my boss and my soul. You're my everything. Everybody forget to read it.
Barbados women's cricket captain Hayley Matthews says women's cricket is on the upswing as she hailed the performance of her team in the just concluded women's T20 Blaze. The Bajan women were crowned the women's T20 Blaze and regional women's double crown champions after handing Guyana an 8-wicket pounding on Wednesday. The Barbadians played unbeaten in the tournament and won both women's titles this season following the capture of the Super 50 in which they did not lose a match. Matthews highlighted some of the positives from the tournament.
It was very important for us. We came down here with a goal, and that was to win the 50 over in the T20 tournament. And it was really good to see the girls be able to play the correct type of cricket and come down here and do a really good job. Yeah, it was really good to see the girls be able to come down here and do a really good job to play the cricket that we were meant to play. I think we can definitely see that West Indies women's cricket is growing. We've seen a lot of good performances this year, going for most runs and most wickets. The tally in the final, well, in the end, has definitely added up to be a lot more this year than it was last year, so I think those are some really positive signs.
Still in cricket, West Indies all-rounder Andre Russell smashed another breathtaking cameo to surpass 200 runs in just 4 innings this season as Kolkata Knight Riders moved into second place in the Indian Premier League standings with a convincing 5-wicket victory over Royal Challengers. In pursuit of a daunting 206 for victory at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium, KKR made light work of their target in the end with a daring runs chase, getting home with 5 balls to spare to win for the 3rd time in 4 outings. The audacious Russell spearheaded the effort, uncorking a 13-ball unbeaten 48, while Australian opener Chris Lynn got 43 and Nitish Rana 37. Earlier, Virat Kohli top scored with 84 from 49 balls, while South African A.B. de Villiers stroked 63 from 32 balls as RCB tallied 205 for 3 of their 20 overs after being sent in to bat. Kohli put on 64 for the first wicket with Parthiv Patel and a further 108 for the second wicket with de Villiers. West Indies left-hander Shimron Hetmyer with 15 runs from 4 innings was dropped for the encounter. And Dylan Hadid struck in stoppage time to spur Antigua and Barbuda to a 2-1 victory over Belize on the second day of the matches in Group B of the CONCACAF Under-17 Championship qualifier on Wednesday. After playing for over an hour with the scores level at 1 apiece, Hadid scored in the 7th minute of injury time to earn the Antiguans a crucial 3 points. Ratija Davis gave the Benner boys the lead in the 11th minute when Henry David Palmer equalized for Belize from the penalty spot in the 28th minute. Both teams embarked on a wave of attacks on each other's goal, but bars until Hadid broke through to leave the Antiguans on a high. In the day's other action, a strong performance powered Dominican Republic past English-speaking Caribbean rivals Dominica 3-0. Goals from Juan Luis Crispin Mota in the 13th minute and Isaac Baez in the 30th made it 2-0 at the break. Now Carlos Liriano sealed the deal for the Spanish-speaking side with a tally in the 87th minute. Group B action continues on Friday evening with Belize clashing with the Dominican Republic and Dominica taking on Antigua and Barbuda. Switching sports now, the Cayman Islands Amateur Athletics will have one last chance this weekend to qualify for the Carifta Games. Cayman 27's Jordan Armenis tells us more.
One of those hopefuls in the green there, 15-year-old Monique Gordon. Here she is in the under-17 girls 200 meters at the aforementioned Carifta Trials. She clocked 27:43 in the prelims. That's 2+ seconds off the B standard. After going to her first Carifta Games as reserve last year, Gordon has her eye on the prize this weekend.
You got to think all the best. I can't get doubtful, because once I get doubtful, the vision disappears. So I just think all the best. Last Carifta, I didn't get to run the relay when I was a reserve, so I have to use that to really drive me and push me forward into running this year.
Also looking to make the cut, Mustang Track Club's Errol Smith, the 15-year-old, won silver as part of the U17 boys 4x100 meter relay at last year's Carifta. That was his debut. Here he is in the boys under 17 200 meter prelims, where he clocked 23:40 seconds, just seconds off the 22:19 standard. And here he is on his hopes this weekend.
I came into the 200 wanting to run 22 to qualify, but I think I did good.
And finally, over in the long jump, 18-year-old Asia Lewis will aim to hit the Carifta cuts in the under-20 girls long jump, as well as the high jump and the 100 meters. Right here, Lewis jumped 5.29 meters just 2 weeks ago, less than 0.2 meters off the standard. She was also less than a second off the 100-meter cut and 0.09 off the high jump cut. Now,
and that's the sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
But you can't blame me for trying. You know I'd be lying, saying go either way.
Girl, you're giving me signs, and you tell me you don't want me. Can you make up your mind? Pretty girl, you're taking your time. Why you do me like this? You know me loving you. Check it. Pull up. Yo, what up, Neff?
See, this is Harlem, these are streets.
Hurt a little bit, but it must break. Hold on to your
Let's go, no, we're ready for the feeling, no. We're never gonna be let down, no. We're ready for
you, and nobody can tell me now. I'm waiting.
This now, them watching me like Netflix. Now leave them in a silence. Them a wait for me to bring the vibes. Jamaican people.
I was good. Sometimes I had my days. I like to party, and I did like school. I got sidetracked once I got in high school.
I had spoke with the girls a few months ago about domestic violence, and I really didn't know at that time that many of them in that room were being abused.
Again, the major developments of this day. The Jamaica Labour Party wins the by-election in the Portland Eastern seat held by the opposition for 30 years. And in sport, Barbados women's captain Hayley Matthews says women's cricket is on the upswing. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, subscribe to CarterNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to caribvision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again on Monday, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.